Port Isaac used to be a quaint Cornish fishing village. These days it's a tourist hotspot, thanks in part to the hugely successful TV series Doc Martin. Fans of the show will recognise this cottage. During filming it becomes the doctor's surgery and the home of Doc Martin himself. It first appeared on our screens back in 2004 and has been a hit ever since. Doc Martin is even popular in America and Australia, and some fans travel thousands of miles to Port Isaac to explore the village for themselves. John Brown has lived here for over 60 years. He's a tour guide in Port Isaac and thinks Doc Martin has made a considerable difference to the village.
Port Isaac's always been a tourist village, but it has brought a huge footfall through, and it's also increased the out of season from April right through now till November. We get a lot more people coming through.
John isn't the most eager of fans, but he recognises that most people who come on his tours are.
I look at it because it's a lovely, it looks lovely, and I need to know where various things happened in the village so I can talk with authority. We had one chap come over from America and he watched the whole box set, and he'd taken 250 pictures from his camera at the telly, so I had a grainy image. He said, "Where's that?" I said, "Well, that's there." Where's that? "Oh, that's 5 yards there." And "Where's that?" "Oh, that's there." That's how keen people are.
They also want to get their hands on Doc Martin merchandise, and most businesses in the village have seen an upturn in trade as a result of the show.
Hospitality-wise, it's been perfect because it's basically now made Port Isaac a worldwide known place.
When they see it on Doc Martin, they just think it's like a really beautiful, quaint little place. I think they want to come and see what it is actually like and feel the Doc Martin sort of vibe.
For the local economy, it's fantastic. There's no two ways about it. There's a lot more people here than before Doc Martin.
It's not a set. We actually live here, and that's what actually brings people here.
Most of the interior scenes in Doc Martin are filmed in a studio, but Buttermilk is one of the few buildings that has had filming take place inside. When it's not the pharmacy in the show, it's a confectionery shop, and it's proved extremely popular with visitors. Are they surprised, do you think?
Yeah, they want to know what we've done to the pharmacy. It doesn't take that long to transform it actually. So they take the two counters out and the centre stand out, and then they put everything else behind false walls. It's all pre-painted arsenic green. And to put the counter in, the props guys come in, put their things in. They film for a couple of days and then they put it all back again.
Not everyone who lives here thinks that Doc Martin has been a good thing for Port Isaac. The Doc Martin Fund was set up in response to those who felt the show had negatively impacted on the village. The production company donated some of its profits to the fund, which aims to support the young and old of the community.
The people who objected on the whole were people who were retired, people who weren't perhaps gaining from it and didn't want the place to change in any way.
Around £90,000 has been donated, with some of the funds helping the school, the nursery and the Golden Circle, a small group of older people in the village. With all this help for the community, have those that previously objected changed their opinions?
I think it's all mainly died down. Some people probably still object, but on the whole, I think people see it as a positive thing because it's brought people here. If we don't have visitors here, the whole place is going to die because fishing is getting less and less. Tourism is really everything.
When Doc Martin is filmed, the production team stay in holiday cottages in Port Isaac. John Bray Cornish Holidays has over 70 cottages to rent in the village, and Doc Martin has presented both positives and negatives for the company.
They came to us and said, "We want to rent loads of cottages because we're bringing a film crew down." And so they rented 25 of our cottages the first year and have been every year that they've come down.
Alex feels some people have been put off visiting the village because it's become significantly busier with Doc Martin tourists.
There have been visitors who used to come before Doc Martin who don't like coming now because it is very overrun with day visitors just looking at Dr. Martin's houses. and that's quite intrusive. And if you imagine if you took those out, the people that are just Doc Martin tours, then Port Isaac would be a nicer place to holiday. Whether they're there or not doesn't really matter, because it's Port Isaac's the star of the show, not Martin Clunes.
There's been much talk about how long Doc Martin will continue for, but will visitors stop coming here if the show ends?
People will be coming back for at least another 20 years. We was up in Holmfirth where they did Last of Summer Wine, and they're still doing tours around the locations there, and that was 25 years ago.
No matter what you think about the show, it seems Doc Martin will continue to influence Port Isaac long into the future.